Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Investigators work to determine a motive after a violent shooting spree left 8 people dead in Georgia, and officials are saying the suspect may have been planning more killings. Plus, it's a question occupying the minds of employees who have worked from home for the past year. Will they still be allowed to work remotely once the pandemic has ended? Ford is providing some answers this afternoon. But we begin with an update on where the fight against the coronavirus stands here in Michigan as cases tick back up. The Department of Health and Human Services says Michigan is seeing an increase in coronavirus case rates and hospitalizations as well. While other Midwestern states are starting to plateau, we are going up. There is now a 5.1% positivity rate in Michigan, with more than 13,000 cases reported in the last week.
Unfortunately, that case rate is continuing to climb. At 144 cases per million, that was a 50% increase from our mid-February low.
The state is seeing more cases of the highly contagious UK variant. A large number has been found in prisons within the Michigan Department of Corrections.
Michigan has identified 725 B117 cases. This is about 15% of all B117 cases reported nationally. We do have a very aggressive testing program here at the state of Michigan as well as University of Michigan. But we've identified at least one case of B117 variant in 31 counties in the state. More than half of our B117 variant cases that are tested are within the MDOC system. That is because we've made use of testing around an outbreak within MDOC.
But the state says there is a bright spot. More than 3 million doses of the COVID vaccine have been put in arms. Nearly 25% of Michiganders 16 and up have gotten at least one dose. Now, let's turn our attention to the coronavirus numbers. The United States passes 29,551,000 coronavirus cases, and more than 536,000 people have died from the virus. These are numbers from the Johns Hopkins University database. Now, here at home, we expect an update on the state numbers this afternoon. Meantime, as we mentioned earlier, Michigan and the U.S. is facing a tough race between COVID-19 vaccines and variants. Vaccinations are quickly ramping up, but contagious variants are spreading across the country and could threaten another surge. Also of note, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan will announce expanded vaccine eligibility this afternoon. That happens at 2. We'll have that for you on clickondetroit.com. Also making headlines, Ford announces a new hybrid work schedule that gives employees more flexibility over when they report to the office. Rod Loney live this afternoon. And Rod, this was inspired by pandemic workflow.
Well, it was, but that's kind of the end of it. They had started talking about this back in 2016, started researching what to do about the future of the office. And so they had a think tank come in. They started bringing in people to look at it. And then the pandemic hit, and it really brought home what it is that they can do. And one of the things they discovered, and car companies don't do things that don't work, they discovered that this hybrid work model for people at home actually increased production. And so that's what they're going to do now. They're going to continue this hybrid workflow. And they gave us some pictures to show you, so we'll show you those here right now. But they've got 30,000 employees right now, and they call it Meeting for a Purpose for non-place dependent work staff. And essentially that's people that don't have to physically be in the building to do what they need to do. And so they're saying that this is great for employee retention, great for morale, and it's only meeting for a purpose. So in fact, if you want to get something done, you talk to your boss and then you figure out what is best for you in terms of when and where you work. So let's hear now from Dave Dubinsky, who is the head of Ford Land, which is in charge of all of the Ford offices and so forth, and see what he has to say about why they're doing what they're doing and how it all looks.
The objective is to convert the office to more we space, and we would have about 75% of the office dedicated to a variety of forms of space that enhance and enable the teams to collaborate. So you could have the traditional conference room, you could have family room kind of space, you could have a bunch of high top tables sitting around a bunch of technology. So the idea is to really encourage people to come in by giving them great space to be able to connect with their teams and collaborate.
So there won't be any of that. Let's go back to my office and talk about something, because you won't have one, essentially, is what they're telling us, because people last year took all of their stuff home from the office. And in fact, they took office things with them that they would need to work. So chairs and some of the technology, and that stays at home. You won't have an office here. If you want to meet here, you go to a place where you can go. Now, one of the other things they're telling us is that the problem they've had with this, and they're trying to help their employees with this, is sort of stopping that blurred line between personal life and work life. And so that's something that they clearly have to go to work on and want to help their people with. But they're saying so far, as things stand, the pandemic has an upside, and it's changing the way the office is going to look in the future. We'll have more coming up on Local 4 News at 5 and 6. Reporting live from Dearborn, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Interesting announcement, Rod. Will be interesting also to see if other companies follow as well. Thanks. The Atlanta area reeling right now after a violent shooting spree left 8 people dead. Police have a suspect in custody, arrested after a brief manhunt. Officials just held a press conference updating the investigation. They talked more about the suspect and potential motive.
I know that we've received a number of calls about, is this a hate crime? We are still early in this investigation, so we cannot make that determination at this moment.
We did interview him last night. He is currently in our facility at the Cherokee County Adult Detention Center. We were able to interview him with the Atlanta Police Department and FBI. He made indicators that he has some issues, potentially sexual addiction, and may have frequented some of these places.
Now, officials went on to say that the suspect was believed to be headed to Florida to target, quote, some type of porn industry. Now, Blaine Alexander has this report from Atlanta.
Well, here in Atlanta, there are still a lot of moving pieces. Investigators are looking at 3 different crime scenes. We're talking about 3 different shootings that all unfolded within the span of about an hour. In fact, 2 of them happened at massage parlors that were just within feet of each other. Now, the first shooting happened about 45 minutes north of Atlanta. Officers there got a call for shots fired. As officials there were working, police here in the city of Atlanta got calls for shots fired at a similar business. And while they were there, they got calls for shots fired at a business across the street. So officials do believe that all 3 of these shootings are connected. They've arrested one man, a 21-year-old, put him into custody as well. But what officials are not commenting on as of right now is the motive. They are not releasing a motive, nor are they labeling this a hate crime, but they are not ruling it out, saying that they are looking at all possibilities in this shooting. Now, we do know that President Biden has been briefed on this. He's been in touch with the Atlanta mayor. We're also expecting to get some sort of update from officials throughout the day as they work to piece all of this together. In Atlanta, I'm Blaine Alexander, NBC News.
All right, thank you, Blaine. A big development this noon in the jury selection for Derek Chauvin, the former police officer charged in the death of George Floyd. This morning, a judge dismissed a juror who had already been seated. There is concern that juror had been tainted by last week's announcement that the city of Minneapolis has agreed to a $27 million settlement with Floyd's family. The juror told the judge he knew of the settlement and it would be hard to be impartial. Chauvin's attorney has requested a delay in the trial, calling the settlement announcement unfair. Turning our attention to the weather as we take a live look outside through our sky cam. What are we expecting for the rest of the day, Brandon?
Some shamrock sunshine on this St. Patrick's Day. Anything goes in the middle of March, right? There are blizzard-like conditions over parts of the country. Also, there is severe weather in parts of the country. But here we have those blue skies, middle 40s, and a pretty light southeast wind. On our way to 55 degrees and a few clouds streaming in here later. Top of the afternoon to you. You can see a little snow sneaking out of Wisconsin into northern lower, but we are going to be tracking wet weather to our south for tomorrow. So the luck of the Irish with us today, Karen. We'll track a little snow and rain coming up.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. Well, speaking of St. Patty's Day, the annual Sharon of the Green St. Patrick's Day Masses returns to Corktown after a year hiatus. It's happening right now. Detroit Archbishop Ellen Vigneron is celebrating Mass at the Most Holy Trinity Parish. New this year, a 6 p.m. Mass will also be celebrated by Auxiliary Bishop Jared Battersby. No reservation is required to attend tonight's Mass, though seating is limited and masks are required. The St. Patrick's Day celebrations have started all across Metro Detroit. People were already lined up in their best green attire and face masks, of course, to enter the Old Shillelagh in Greektown this morning. This year, the celebrations are happening under statewide restrictions. Partygoers say they're trying to make the best out of a tough situation.
We're super excited that places are open because, I mean, all these businesses have suffered so much through the last year, and I mean, you definitely got to come out and support. You know, it's St. Patrick's Day. Everyone's Irish today. Why not?
Now, of course, there will probably be crowds there lined up all day since the pub can only serve 50% of its capacity. Plan
New at noon.
Still to come, a surge of unaccompanied migrant children arrive at the U.S. border. How President